in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7.
Oh, does everything pop up? Yeah, there we go, a penguin. I'll put on my little bow tie. I had to quickly come over to the screen because the first game is indeed one of the tournament matches. Go7! Oh. Hello. Habits is going to sleep? What? That never happens. We don't have the music. 1 second. I thought something was missing. There we go. Good evening. Good evening. You have finals early tomorrow? I'm not going to have a... there's not going to be a stream tomorrow, so that's okay. I have midterms. Again, another one. For real analysis. Fun, fun, fun. Technically, I've had more time to work on it, but it's due tomorrow, so I should get it done. Ooh, congratulations. You have the day off tomorrow? Very nice. I'm mighty jealous. I guess I technically will too. Off the streaming. Bumble Adder against Eagle Jake. Oh man, Eagle Jake. That's an optimistic pick. Quacktagon. What a name. It's the newest shape. They'll pop up. It's just like a glitch with the replay. I think once they switch for the first time, it'll bring in the other power bar. But yeah, right now it's hidden. took all of my turns last night. It was very good. Unfortunately, Humida decided to take a turn back very quickly. I was really hoping that I'd get some more time off on the games, but it's okay. I still have plenty of time on the clock. I have Humida is kind of in a situation that has limited options. Yes. I've been reading a book. Well, just waiting for people to show up. I've been reading The Assassin's Apprentice. Well, I guess I've been listening to The Assassin's Apprentice. The Farseer, Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. It's like a fantasy book. It started out super dark and then kind of came into almost like a slice of life genre of just this poor kid being trained into a human weapon. And now we're back to it being super dark. But I'd recommend it. Apparently, I think it's a 3-book series. It's just the first book. My God, my goodness, the music is so intense. Well, happy Mother's Day. It's not a show, it's a book. Assassin's Apprentice. The Farseer, the Assassin's Apprentice. If I make it to the final round of Quack Cup 1, we'll face each other. I'll do my best. I'm not that high rated in when it comes to high funds. Not this weird map. It's a good book. I'd recommend it. It gets the Penguin seal of approval. This is my high funds rating. I'm only like 1,000 rated. Look at that. I'm pretty new to the high funds scene. Let's go back to this game. Oh. Well, I guess that's technically true for any final of any tournament. I guess in that division. Oh, you're already knocked out of Quack Cup 1? Oh no. You mean the bracket, yeah. You're in my bracket. Each of the top players pretty much gets their own bracket. That's not true. It's like 2 top players per bracket. 1 per side. Ish. No, there's more than just 2, I guess, per bracket, because I'm fighting Talos already. He was stuck on the same side as me. Although Talos isn't rated that highly in League. I think he's only like 1,300. He just does a lot of tournaments. You know the secret tech to Quack Cup 2 Round 3. Fancy. I think I made a mistake. I remember feeling like I made a mistake in one of those games. On either day 1 or day 2. Where I'm like, oh, I just missed an opportunity. Is Talos still 1450? He hasn't played League in forever. You know my friends list? He is. Oh, he is 1450. Look, it has indeed been like forever since we last played in League. But it was against JJ Empire 64, so there's that. Look at it, only 828 in high funds. We both make it to the second round of Glenstorm. Well then, much closer to fighting there. Okay, I can start up the replay now. We got a good number of people. We've got Subbie-Eye playing as Vombolt and Adder against quacktagon playing as Eagle and Jake. So Eagle and Jake, this is a very optimistic pairing because they both are like super CO users. And that means that quacktagon doesn't really have someone that can fight against Vombolt in the day-to-day and early game department. And usually when that happens, that means you have to rely very heavily on indirects in order to fight against Vombolt's units, because if you just go tanks and Vombolt goes tanks, you're just going to lose your tank wars, because this has strictly better tanks. So the indirects do enough damage to potentially make up for that, although he's going to have, if he gets too many of these comm towers, which he's going to have an easy time doing because his infantry is so much better than yours, then you're not going to have a very easy time walling for your indirects, and he'll probably still beat you in that case. On the nice thing about this for quacktagon is that copters are very powerful in this map, and Eagle does have strictly better copters than Vombolt by 5% attack. So there is that, and I guess also less fuel consumption. But the fact that the infantry for Subbie-Eye are so much stronger is going to be a really big problem, because these bases are pretty close together, and there's a lot of infantry fighting and infantry harassment on this map. But right away we'll see what each player decides to do with these black boats. You can either use them to kind of transport stuff around, or you can go block off this harbor immediately. Same with down here. And looks like Subbie-Eye decided not to move the black boat, just build some infantry. quacktagon goes down for this capture, and also didn't move the black boat. So I guess they haven't. It looked to me like quacktagon is just copying Subbie-Eye's movement, that waiting there. But that does mean they've both missed out on the opportunity to stop the other person from getting this harbor guaranteed. Now Subbie-Eye is sailing it over here. This is probably because on the original version of this map, the shadows chase you endlessly. You often want your black boat prepared to go block off this island harbor. So just making sure that the black boat's in position to do that. There isn't that much of a threat of the island harbor getting captured very quickly, so I would instead prefer if it was positioned in a spot where it could pick up an infantry, at least threaten to do that. Like if you put it here and then put your infantry onto this city to start capturing it, and then you can hop in there. You could even interrupt your capture to hop in there and then like dash over here or something drastic like that. Not that you would probably do that, but it's just something you can threaten. And the Subbie-Eye is walking up here really early. I would prefer, I mean, it's not awful, but I would definitely prefer to try and get this airport online as fast as possible, because of how strong the air is when you're building an airport in the center of the map, and it can hit any of the fronts, any of the three bases. And then it looks like we're just mirroring the black boat movement here, so it is going to block off. It can potentially block off this harbor if this infantry could take a dash for it. But quacktagon does not mirror the infantry movement. It does start hitting out towards the middle and this airport, which I think is going to be a very good pick. You miss Subbie? Subbie's still somewhat around, but yeah, isn't going ham with the Advance Wars right now. It does decide to go for this capture. Also, but again, delays going for this airport, which I think is a pretty big mistake. He's like, yeah, quacktagon I think is just copying what Subbie's doing, who just decided to go with the sit on the harbor. What are their ratings? I want to say they're like 1100s. 1138 and 900. Okay, so well, almost 1000. So Subbie is about 100-ish higher. So they're about the same range. But quacktagon does go for the very early airport, and this is going to be a problem for Subbie very quickly. But luckily, Subbie is starting to move out for this airport. Infantry movements over here are kind of peculiar. I guess it's not so bad. This means this will probably mean that this infantry is going to try and go for this comm tower right away. Otherwise, you'd probably want this infantry to forsake the chain and walk over here to get this city a lot earlier. Because if you have this guy go for it, it's going to take a lot longer. Then this guy will be kind of starved of an option of where to go, because this guy will go for this city. And then if this guy's going for this city, this guy just stands around looking a little foolish. So it'll probably be... This is just with the intention to go for the comm tower. But quacktagon is going to have a very easy time to thwarting that, because this will finish its capture and get the airport, and then the infantry is ready to try and stop the comm tower capture, but also a copter can be built. I'll hail the King of the Penguins. Right now you're going to be distracted by Zelda. That's very, very understandable. You think quacktagon is underrated? Ooh. Okay, so we had a early tank from Subbie, and it's built from this base, which I think if Subbie was just reacting to the fact that the tank got built down here. I would prefer to build the tank here, I think. But mainly because I don't know what this tank does. I guess it's... I think Subbie's probably thinking quacktagon is going to go for this city with the tank support, and then in that case you need the tank a lot earlier. Which makes sense. But, again, it's going to be tough because the tank... Well, the tank, like, the Von Bolt tank here will be able to beat up this Eagle tank no problem. There is an airport here, so this tank can also be invalidated very quickly with just a copter buy on the front. Start getting the airport now. Do have this kind of rush to the comm tower. I think that will be stopped. We have this infantry going for this comm tower right away. Right, just a bunch of infantry. So we have 5,000 floating, which is pretty good. You can see the tank did move out here. I guess maybe the idea is to try and support this comm tower capture. It's still going to run into the problem with it. Copters can just be built. Really, a copter can be built from either this one or this one and stop the comm tower capture. Okay. No, we didn't. Whoa, quacktagon did not build a copter. Would have been a really good pick, or a really good buy. Instead, buys a tank. I'm not sure what this tank's going to do. It's going to run into a similar problem up here. If it tries to move up here to stop these infantry, Subbie can just build a copter here. And it doesn't actually cover this property capture. This still happens. So that's a pretty big blunder from quacktagon. I think a copter is just way, way better. This front also is usually starved for infantry anyway. Because the replay viewer doesn't have the skin or the texture files. so it would miss out on all the character of the tournament. Subbie is not an old name in Advanced Wars by Web. I'm pretty sure Subbie is fairly newish, or at least as new as me. I'm not quite sure how new Subbie is. Okay. Subbie builds another tank here. And a tank here. I would, again, prefer to see some copters being built. Especially from quacktagon, but Subbie as well. Like, the copters are so powerful. You build the copter here, and they have to respond on 2 different fronts. But this comm tower capture is free for Subbie now because there wasn't a copter built. So this is really good for Subbie, who's going to have double comm tower as Von Bolt against 0 comm tower Eagle. And in that situation, or I was in a similar situation against Talos against double comm tower Von Bolt as Eagle, and it is not fun. Although a very different map. Okay, here we go. We have our first Eagle copter. And we have an artillery too. So this tank has, I guess, dreams of stopping this capture, but Subbie can always build a copter to ensure this capture happens, basically. But there's also now pressure on Subbie to get an anti-air over here. I overly freaked out about it, yes? Wow, Mr. Green Suit. I don't think you understand. Okay, there is the anti-air. Looks like Subbie's got evil plans here to try and take this airport. You have a lot of tanks coming in here. You can see how nicely this works out. So, I mean, this could have been built on the previous turn and stopped this comm tower completely, but still, copter gets built here. Anti-air is forced from Subbie up here to save these captures. And then the copter can still just attack over here. Already from the central base. I mean, it is very choky over here, so I can understand that. And if you can get your artillery like on this city, after you capture it, then you can try and protect your other one. I can understand those intentions. Okay, what does quacktagon decide to build here? The tank does go for this attack. Covered by an artillery. The 6-6 trade doesn't get the kill. I don't think it's possible. It's actually impossible for quacktagon to get that kill. It might be even possible to get a worse roll than that. I don't know if this can live at 2. Because this is that's a 0 firepower boosted infantry attacking Von Bolt in the forest, which is kind of like attacking a city, an infantry on a city. And Avengers, but you learn that Sammy artillery plus tank doesn't even kill Javier tank on planes. Oof, oof. Looks like Subbie's going to try and go for some kind of surround over here. This is one of the nice ways of dealing with copters. Is you can kind of, if you have enough units and the ability, you can have a unit on every side of them and then bring an anti-air over in range. And you'll end up like trading a tank hit or an infantry, kill an entire copter. And here we get to see how scary double comm tower Von Bolt is. Just run all over here and one-shot that infantry. Is very good. I'm not sure why this infantry sacrificed itself. Maybe it's setting up for this tank attack. Must be. I probably still wouldn't attack that with the infantry. You can place the infantry over here instead of attacking, just like move next to it, or move over here to make it so the or somewhere else. Really, it doesn't. You just need to put it in a place that it's annoying for your opponent to kill and expose one of their own units. Okay. So fortunately, copters can fly, so the ocean tiles here are not a problem, and this copter can get away. We do have a tank first strike. Yes, 6-5. It is technically positive, backed up by an artillery. 6-7. 8-3. Yeah, that is rough. The 2 infantry combined did 7 damage, and they took 6. The vulnerable infantry stands strong, fighting off the waves of the Eagle infantry. No problems. Okay. Oof. Oh, the pain of having absolutely no firepower against Von Bolt. You can't even tank infantry kill the infantry on the city. We do have a copter strike over here. That's relatively nice. It can't... the black boat could have moved out, and then it would have been possible to trap this copter here. But that's a nice little hit. Yeah. Von Bolt's basically is currently grim, but with 30% more defense. Is very good. You're coming in and hitting this artillery. Sure. Tank comes in, gets this hit. So we're front switching away from... I'm kind of surprised. I thought maybe that Subbie might go for the hit on this artillery. The tank kills the infantry, tank hits the artillery. And then this tank can try and run away towards that protection. But maybe he didn't want to invite this tank hit. It just wants to go for these infantry kills instead, which is fine. Don't know why this 5 health infantry is approaching all of these slow. As we've seen, the Von Bolt infantry are really good, but they're not this strong. Okay. It's gonna be really tough for quacktagon to save this city. Actually, it's not that tough, I guess. The tank can just hit it. There isn't Subbie didn't build anything to stop that. A lot is being invested to deal with this one tank in the back. The tank did not go over and hit it. It used the infantry. So this is going to mean that the infantry on this, all of the infantry over here for quacktagon are going to be completely gone. And yeah, that's why you wouldn't want to just move your infantry there. Even as a Von Bolt one, it just got taken out. But very nice harassment with this copter. It's slowly getting chipped down from the retaliation. Oh my gosh, so much is being invested in killing this one tank. That's not going to end well. Could have just left it with this one tank going in here. You don't need to bring the whole army. Okay. Anti-air came in, killed an infantry. These ones won't die because they're on plains instead of road. The 7 health infantry can just kill like that. And yeah, now the copter's here. Making... This looks like a mistake to me. I think you should just... Oh, I see. Didn't want to just walk down here with the infantry, either killing this or starting the capture, because this copter can hit. It's just out of range of this one. Sure, that's fine. Instead wants to go for this comm tower. I mean, yeah, having triple comm tower as Von Bolt, it's got to be even better. The artillery gets pinned in here. This is really annoying. Because now it's going to take a tank to free it. Ooh. More infantry getting taken out. Quacktagon is falling way behind in the unit count. And this copter, as strong as it is, doesn't really want to fight this. The artillery decides to stay here. So there's probably going to be an anti-air built. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. An anti-air doesn't actually guard this artillery. So it's going to be up to a copter. That's not great, because a copter chain can defeat just a copter defending. Okay. The 7-5 trade. I like this 1 health blocker to make sure this tank can't get involved here unless the copter makes way for it. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, so this copter comes forward into copter range, but that is guarded by the anti-air, unlike the artillery. Okay. Eagle is like a third of the way there to the super. Gonna be a rough road ahead. Well, you're right. The 2 HP infantry here can clear the way. Yeah, he did need the anti-air last turn in order to guard the artillery. Right, get the copter strike, and then the tank very nicely attacks from here, because that is the only route that this anti-air had to make it to this copter. Right, and then this comm tower starts being captured. It looks like it is going to be captured. Yeah, the artillery gets struck. No fear of this copter from Eagle. Anti-air kills the copter that came back to repair on the airport, and then we have 1 copter strike over here. It's looking like Subbie, and the tank support too. It's looking like Subbie is kind of closing out the game at this point. The anti-air brought up here to, I guess, babysit this airport. It's out of range of the tank, so this is a pretty annoying threat. If this anti-air tries to move up to support this copter attacking this copter, the anti-air from Von Bolt can actually do quite a bit of damage to the Eagle anti-air. However, we've actually done... That was a lot of charge given to Quacktagon that turn. So we might see an Eagle super here. It's going to be a pretty... I mean, it's going to be tough. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh. I was going to say it's going to be tough to kind of get value just because of the firepower difference. But there is this nice... Not quite sure. I think somebody just miscounted this. The anti-air does get to hit this copter. This makes me think that Quacktagon is not thinking about getting the super this turn. Otherwise, the artillery would do something rather than just go back and repair. I mean, this does look like it would be a pretty good super, and I do think that Quacktagon might have chances to get it. Maybe not. It's very close. These infantry aren't sacrificing themselves, so I'm going to assume that it wasn't actually possible. Or maybe it would be possible, but the copter would have to sacrifice itself into this anti-air. That would definitely get it. I mean, I feel like... Oh no, Quacktagon's realized it too late. Yeah. Quacktagon wasn't able to get the super there. That would have been a pretty decent super. would have been able to kill off this copter and then also kill off this copter, as well as potentially both of these copters. Actually, that would have been really good. So I think sacrificing this copter into this anti-air earlier on for quacktagon would have done it there. Yeah, Subbie might be able to get the Von Bolt super. Didn't take the third comm tower before Eagle does. All of this is happening about the third. That probably would have killed. There we go. Now we capture it. Down goes the copter. Looks like we're not quite gonna get the Von Bolt super. Maybe if the tank sacrifices itself and the anti-air hits a tank, then it might be possible. Looks like we're not gonna go for it. That was a weird move. Is this artillery does cover that city? Okay, well this Eagle Super isn't nearly as good as the last one, but it's still something. Copter gets taken out. Comm tower starts being captured. It's a 6-6 trade. You hate to see it. You wouldn't want to attack here with this tank because the artillery is going to get refreshed and you can finish off the artillery, or the anti-air. Okay. Oh, so sad that this copter is standing on the airport and the anti-air on build isn't able to cover it. Eagle can almost build and use, but there's a mountain here and a forest here. You're just out of range. You have the lightning strike. Alright, does clear out all of the attackers around. Wait. Is there not a way to save this airport? Well, that's embarrassing. Looks like maybe the artillery had to do it. Oh, the artillery could have killed the anti-air. And then this anti-air could have killed this copter, and then the tank could have interrupted this. Well, ideally, you don't lose your middle airport on your lightning strike turn, but these things happen. Subbie straight to the super, which hits here. Looks like there wouldn't have been a way to redirect that. Should probably attack this artillery over here with these two infantry. These are stunned. It just got unstunned because I went backwards. Kablam. Wow, I'm surprised that copter took a damage. Alright, well. Subbie switches over to Adder at the end of the turn. So that kind of hurts the switch because you lose stats, but there are units already stunned, so there isn't so much that this block rock is going to get done. I killed that stuff though. Honestly, I don't think you would switch off of Von Bolt with the Von Bolt power up, because that's a 20 stat difference in attack and defense. And that hurts. But we'll see what if I At least when you're Adder and you use your power and then you swap back to Von Bolt, it doesn't feel bad at all because you don't lose stats. Yeah. I think you wouldn't switch off of Von Bolt unless your opponent can't attack you. There's no real reason to give them that opportunity. Okay. I feel like this copter could have found a better use in life than hitting this anti-air. I guess it's going to be the double copter attack on it? Okay. I mean, it's not awful. I think the tank comes over here and beats up this artillery. Wants to beat up this artillery? Sure. That works too. The copter built from the stolen middle base. Things are looking good. They're so speedy. Look at them go. Zoom. And as you swap to Von Bolt, then you keep your nice stats. Swapping to Von Bolt feels so nice. I think quacktagon might resign here. Just the game doesn't continue past there, day 14. So quacktagon did resign after that, which is fair. The space looked like it was absolutely doomed. So well played by Subbie. I think there was only a few situations I think didn't work out that great. Mainly, I think the capture phase might have been a little unoptimized with delaying the airport. But when it came down to the actual fighting, I think everything went really well. quacktagon, I mean, Von Bolt versus Eagle it's a tough matchup. That's true. Adder, I agree. I think Cole is better than Adder, unless you're going double Adder. Because both Adder and Cole have the same amount of charge for the super, and at least you'd get that road bonus. Jake might be better than Adder too, although having the infantry movement and the copter movement's pretty nice. That's a rare statement too. That's true. Okay, I'm going to transition over to the replay viewer now. Transitions. I'll be right back. You feel us shrinking. Hey! You guys shrank. Oh no. We got Djorca versus Piquant. My only chance. It's a league game. This is indeed a league game. Tier 1. I think this is sent in by Djorca, but it could be Piquant. Let's quickly try and look through my list of messages. Not seeing either of those names. So it must be... just a mismatch with their Discord names and their advanced words by web names. VB does kind of diminish tags a bit, yeah, because don't tag being viable. It's true. Really, just strong day-to-day COs kind of do that too, though. Because Kindle can do something similar. Where it's like, why would I ever swap off of Kindle in comparison to being someone else? I think Max has a rough time as a tag CO. Because you might be playing as one CO that likes artillery, and then you have to switch over to Max, and suddenly you're like, half my army is useless. Okay, so I'll just make Djorca Cobalt Ice, and we'll make Pete Kent Yellow Comet. So, I think this is probably a mistake. I think going for this black boat and unloading right away is the way to go. Personally, I want to go for all production facilities really fast in high funds because you can very, very quickly afford to produce from all of them. And copters from here both defend this front, which is nice, but they can also threaten two different fronts. The double Kindle Millstone is super deadly. That's true. Okay. Oh, okay. Just delaying this by one turn, that's not so bad. But I would still like to see it a turn earlier. But it's still good that it happened. And we'll see if Pete Kent goes for it too. Okay. And we have Eagle versus Hawke here. So far, they kind of just have mirrored builds. So in this matchup, I think that Eagle has the advantage. I mean, because Eagle is just absolutely broken in high funds. Probably the strongest high funds character or CO that's allowed. So a lot of pressure is going to be put on Hawke to do something to stop Eagle from just kind of winning the game by building big units and then taking a double move, as Eagle would like to do. So it looks like Pete Kent's going to try and do that by focusing on building vehicles in this top right. And then I assume what I would probably do is rush down here, but then feign the attack down here, front switch through these shoals, and try and take this central lone base, because it's going to be way easier to take than this one that has an airport backup. Depends on the map, you think? I mean, that's always going to be true. There's always going to be maps that one CO will be a lot stronger than another. But in general, I would say that Eagle is the best high funds CO. Now that Combite's been taken out of it. So I guess Sensei can also take out Eagle if can fight him early enough. Well, we'll see what Hawke can get done here. They do both get a lot out of their supers. It's just that Eagle gets a lot more. But Hawke does have that day-to-day. Interestingly, both of them decided to finish this capture before going for this airport. I think that's probably a mistake. It gets you like a tiny bit more money, but costs you an entire copter count. And like for instance, if Djorca hadn't finished this capture, instead started capturing on this airport and then came back for this later, there could be a copter built this turn, which would be really nice because there's a bunch of tanks incoming. We will see if these tanks decide to front switch away like I would do for my plan. Do artillery pressure. So artillery pressure usually means that the push is intending to go for a base kill rather than just the pure harassment that a lot of tanks can do. The problem with just going pure tanks and trying to go for a kill on the base is they can just build a bigger tank. Like so. And now all these tanks can't really attack in here without some serious damage, without being hit. But if you have artillery backing you up, then they build a medium tank and you're like, that's fine, I have artillery. Usually you want more than just one artillery. We have a base skip from Djorca, which isn't great. So like in this case, just don't build this tank, just build another artillery and then infantry, and you don't have the base skip. You need multiple artillery to get the job done, usually anyway. Five tiles away tank from base. Why didn't he attack the tank? You talking about this tank? You're thinking this tank goes here, hits here, and you're covered by this medium tank. I think the idea, or what Djorca is trying to avoid, is losing this, losing the tank count currently. So this would hit here, it would do some damage, and then the other two tanks would come in, kill that tank, and then the other one hits this infantry, and then your medium tank can only hit one of them. So I think the idea is once the medium tank's on the front lines, then you have enough support with the other tanks. But you could also attack it. You're thinking both tank attacks. Well, that can't kill, which is a problem. And then both of them are vulnerable. But that would... I guess you could try and kill... I mean, you don't have a comm tower at all right now, which is a little embarrassing. I'm fine with killing off this infantry. I think that's nice. It also lets you threaten to take this capture. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to kill because you don't have you need 20% firepower boost, of course, to get that guaranteed. You could go tank infantry, but without a comm tower at all, I don't think tank infantry even has a chance, maybe? Yeah, Pecan should definitely front... I mean, the medium tank's been built, so time to just leave and go after attack another place. If you continue fighting here, like you can try to, if you want to, I guess you could try and kill his infantry off to stop like the comm tower capture, but I can always build one and go for it right away. So if you keep trying to attack here, then this airport's going to get involved, and at that point, the tank pressure is going to be evaporating very quickly. So right now, if they can all just like start rushing into the middle, like so, that's very nice. Ooh, then we have a Neo tank built over here. Okay. Okay, this puts some nice pressure on Eagle to build some expensive stuff over here. The only problem I would say for Hawke right now is that there isn't the artillery to back up any of these attacks. You're saying free attack. You're looking at this. I guess it's this tank. Can hit this infantry. You'd have to hit it from here. The problem is it's not. Well, I mean, it is going to hit it. It's not going to kill it, but it's not as free as it looks because when the medium tank comes over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you can barely get away from the medium tank, so you could hit that from here specifically, and then you'd be able to make it back up here without the medium tank catching you. So that's technically free, but that would only be hitting an infantry. You wouldn't be able to kill it, and they can just sit there and repair. So I wouldn't be a huge fan of that. I'd rather keep them all together and get a lot of damage done elsewhere that's more permanent. But you could do that. It would cost a tiny bit of funds. We do have... the infantry's going to have to get involved. Otherwise, the Neo Tank would just come kill the artillery. So this is where that artillery comes very much in use. The Neo Tank, scarier than all of these tanks. It can kill these guys for days. But it doesn't want to take this artillery hit. Unless this was Andy. If this was Andy in high funds, then you would just attack in here anyway. Assuming your opponent doesn't have enough firepower to finish you off. Tank kill. It is in this Neo Tank's range. So that I'm not a huge fan of that. It's out of these tanks' ranges. And then looks like Djorca went for the medium tank buy. Because build the copter and so wasn't able to afford a Neo Tank. That's going to be tough. Medium tanks, a single medium tank does have a hard time warding off a Neo Tank. So bam, down goes a tank. It's been a tank for a tank trade. There isn't any anti-air. This is the kind of, especially in high funds and also in fog, and sometimes in standard, you'll want prophylactic anti-airs. Like, there's no way they're not building from this airport. You might as well have the anti-airs already on the way. I do like all these tanks coming together with this Neo Tank. Okay, going for a very strong central presence. This is kind of opening the door for Djorca to attack along here, along at the bottom of the map, like it's giving the city up, for instance, and then putting pressure on this central base. Well, also Djorca would just have to start retreating back towards this one, their own central base, to not let these tanks get anything done. All right, coming up and hitting that, taking a city is always good too. Brave medium tank. Going for a hit on that infantry, that's fine. It's technically not immune to tank attacks, but it is very durable against them. And it's not really cost effective to hit this with 4 tanks. Although with one attack from the city as Hawke, if there wasn't, like, if these tanks were a tile back and like this copter a tile back, then I would consider having a 4 tank attack on this medium tank, the first one attacking from the city. We'll see if P. Kent goes for it. Hello. Would it be better to skip the B-copter there and go Neo? Maybe. I would either go B-copter and then just build maybe even a rocket, because as you can see very quickly, this top base is kind of going into hold the choke mode, and in that case having some indirects to help would be good. Neo, yeah, I probably would go Neo and skip the copter. Ooh, now a single medium tank doesn't ward off a Neo tank very well, but double medium tank does. So this is a very aggressive attack in here by P. Kent. He's going to be able to go for these captures in the back. This is a double lab map, so you need to take more than just this lab. We'll see how this works out. I think that this might be a little bit of a mistake. Ooh, we have nice copter harassment here. No anti-air is built. The top mid base objective is survive. Yeah. You could even build an Eagle battleship if you wanted to. It wouldn't even be that bad. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that it would be covering. And when you have your Eagle Super, you would fire twice. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have our double medium tank kill this Neo tank. Very nice. And this shouldn't kill at 8. So it's gonna have to go Neo tank strike and then a tank around the back. At this point, you just build another Neo tank or a Mega tank even. Probably a Mega tank is what you'd buy here at Eagle. There we go. The Mega tank will be really happy on potentially a super turn next turn, because if this Neo tank comes in, hits this medium tank, and then the tank kills it off, and the tank sits on this city, the Mega tank can kill the tank on the city, and then sit on the city, and then kill this Neo tank, and then it's on a city as a Mega tank. It's very happy. It's a start. It gets ammo back. And it's going to be tough for Kent to keep up this aggression on this top middle city, because their own middle city is under a lot of threat right now. And the main attacking generating force over here is also under threat. Although it looks like this might be backing off, in which case it can continue just unloading its units on this central base. We do have the anti-air built. This medium tank shouldn't have stayed here. It should have gone down 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, and then you have this base in a pickle because it needs to build an anti-air to deal with the copter, but it needs to build like a medium tank to deal with the medium tank. But since this medium tank, and not even a tank, is over here, you can just build an anti-air and you don't have that conundrum. I think Kent is going to start front switching away from this base. Just took these cities and is happy with that victory. Up 6k, which in other modes is a really big deal. In high funds, it's still a pretty big deal. Now the pressure is no more. Yeah, I like the front switching away from the Mega. We do have a bomber built. At this point as Eagle, you'd probably want to build... maybe you build a fighter. You might be able to rely on your anti-airs. Okay. Ooh. Got the kill. I do like the repairs on these infantry. You got lots of extra change in high funds, so you might as well use them to get your army up to snuff. We're falling back over here, making sure the artillery are covering everything. It doesn't look like there's an easy breakthrough here for Hawke. We have an artillery built here. Okay, so no fighter built. Just another medium tank. Medium tanks are pretty decent. Ooh, we got bomber chains coming out here for Hawke. Well, that's going to force an anti-air out. Ooh, it's actually really annoying. It's going to both force an anti-air out, and it also forces infantry to come back and block the base. Because, I guess it doesn't quite work against Eagle, but Hawke can always pop a power and then have the bomber kill the anti-air on the base. And then the bomber just sits next to the base and stops you from pretty much doing anything. But that doesn't quite work against Eagle, because you can always build an anti-air and then lightning strike and hit it. Okay, so we'll see. We're back to kind of coalescing in the center here. Must be coming down here to try and save this base, whose anti-air came out into the threat range of tanks. Ooh, Djorca coming in. Ooh, I think we have a medium tank on this Neo tank, and that's going to give enough charge. So we might have a complete wipe of... Or maybe not complete wipe, but almost a complete wipe of Kent's entire central army. Because the Mega tank can go here, kill this infantry, and then set up to hit the Neo tank on the city. So this is looking very good. Did sacrifice a copter in here, sure. I don't know if the sacrifice was needed, but it might have been. Looks like it probably was. Eagle Super is online. You can see all these nice artillery moving up. They get to move and shoot here. Djorca spent most of the money on a carrier in order to shoot the bomber. Okay. Well, it's not gonna... Oh, it does kill. Never mind. I guess it's the extra firepower boost. Well, that's one way to deal with it. Bad lad. Boom. Nice artillery shots. The anti-air gets to come in and kill the copter, and then we get to go hit this anti-air. And then the copter gets to kill the copter. We get to come down here and kill this anti-air. Yeah. Eagle just doing that Eagle thing. Kill off that tank. Then it's that, and at the end of these turns, you get to click the end turn. You get to go your turn. P. Kent goes for the Black Storm. How much damage did P. Kent take there? It must have been that 71k at the end. Oh my gosh, it was like 150,000. The end of the turn, this is a third of the army. So this one bomber. It is such as the power of Eagle. So we do have the Black Storm, and it does like 40k. We both lose 1/10 of the army. Ooh, still moving on in here. A lot of infantry. Okay. At this point, ooh, we might see Djorca just try and go for both labs. I mean, there is a mega tank over here, so I think this is definitely doable. Maybe not. Looks like Djorca's just going to settle with killing off a ton of units, which is totally fine. Start moving on down for this base. I think both labs might have been an achievable goal. Artillery is covering this. At this point, P. Kent is just doing whatever they can. They are still technically up in income by 8,000, but a lot of cities are about to fall, so that's not going to stay true for very long. It's gonna heal itself up. Okay. And at this point, Eagle doesn't really need to do much besides just pick up whatever free cities that they can, since as the armies get larger and larger, it only benefits Eagle more and more. Especially when you have the larger army, you kind of get to decide how much charge your opponent gets. If you're managing the powers or the charge very well, which is something that like Eagle you kind of start to excel at. You have the black boat deleted. I'm going to assume that the max unit count is 50 here. Yeah, potentially, I think Eagle could have done something over here to lock with artillery. Looks like Kent is going to push the issue. As best as they can. Kind of catching up a bit in the unit value and unit count. Decided to shoot the mega tank, okay. There we go. This is one of the classic ways to deal with a mega tank. You just kind of surround it with stuff it doesn't want to fight, and then bring in units that can kill it. Such as another mega tank. Very well done by Djorca there. And this is also, as I said many times, your big units need to have proper support with them. Otherwise, this just happens to them. This will happen to mega tanks, medium tanks, neo tanks, bombers, fighters, whatever. You just, if there isn't enough support for them, they can just be surrounded by really weak units and then taken out. Yeah, we have a huge income swing as all of those properties get captured. Kent fights on. Going for this capture. Goodbye, Mega Tank. Decided didn't want to kill it with the Mega Tank. Okay. Oh, Djorca's thinking it's time for another lightning strike and is willing to sacrifice some units to get it done. A bunch of copters apparently. Ran back with this copter for some reason, or this anti-air for some reason. Oh, I guess it's gonna go over here and hit these infantry. There's a lot of artillery. I think these artillery, at least some of them probably could have shifted down here, I guess. But they'll just have nothing to do except kill this mega tank. Never mind, the infantry's gonna finish it off with the luck roll. The carrier gets deleted. You hate to see it. Replaced with a battleship. Land. Goes the bomber. The medium tank. Goes the mega tank. Now goes all the copters. Such is the way of High Funds Eagle. And some more cities are being captured. Kent not looking too good. Does get a Black Storm off. Naval retrain. Yeah. We'll teach you all how to run this battleship rather than this carrier. Kent sticking through it. Oh, we got the double pipe runner until the resign. But yeah, GG. You really got to see how scary Eagle can be. High Fund Eagle giveth. High Funds Eagle taketh. GG. So, oftentimes... I went too far back. Oftentimes, this kind of move, where you kind of put all your units together in the middle and then attack somewhere, can be pretty effective. But as you saw... especially against Eagle, if you have just a whole bunch of units stuck together, it's like a huge target. And Eagle can just... like, they're all grouped together, easy to strike with that double move. Like, you have a big army, it's sitting in the middle, so it can attack it, it can go anywhere it wants. But it's really vulnerable right there, because also Eagle can attack it from every front. And it's just gone. This is why you like Eagle on high property count standard maps too. Yeah, he can you can do the same thing there too. Not as absurd as it is in High Funds, though. Dororo. Drake versus Andy. The army literally evaporated, yeah. These two names remind me of animes. I don't know if it's Dororo, something similar to that. And then Reborn reminds me of Hitman Reborn, which I read when I was in like high school. Blast the past. Okay. We have Drake versus Andy, which is always a fun matchup. Gotta make Andy into Yellow Comet, though. Face to the left. Okay. I think this is the original version of the map. There's been some attempts to mix it up. Rah-rah, maybe. Interestingly, Drake did not move this lander. Doro, maybe. Hitman Reborn went through the shonen trope of starting as a comedy and then becoming a battle manga. Hey, other people recognize it. Does the lander move now? No. This is a very fishy lander. You would think Drake would want to move it either going down here and trying to achieve the dream of going for this going with this long path through this harbor and then picking this infantry up to go for this airport, or just have it in position to pick stuff up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't understand this shoal. I thought it was going to be you can travel through here to get to this shoal so that you can unload here. I guess Drake black boats and Sammy black boats from this shoal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 can unload here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But they can do the same thing from here. This shoal, I now proclaim it as worthless. No offense, but it's true. So we do have an unload over here. So Drake just doesn't want to use this lander. That's fine. You can do this. Is kind of how it's intended to play, is that you pick up in your lander and then you drop stuff off over here to capture on this peninsula. You can just ignore that if you want, and instead of sending your inventory over here, you send them into the center and you can like capture all of these properties while your opponent's capturing the peninsula, and then you can come in and try and take the peninsula and then try and defend this middle, because the middle is a lot easier to contest and defend than the peninsula is. That might be what Drake's doing. Ooh. Reborn is delaying this harbor capture, though. Oh, the lander has now started moving back. It's like, oh, I'm here. It looks like Drake was not going with that plan. You have a recon going into the middle very aggressively, so it looks like Andy's just unloading a few infantry over here, but not completely neglecting the center at the cost of not getting some early properties. So this will potentially hurt Andy in the early game. but we'll see if it comes to fruition. It depends on if this Drake tank is able to like stop one of these properties from being captured. Basically, it's not a huge deal to delay capturing this harbor, provided you don't get punished by not having early vehicles, because for every infantry, as long as the infantry is traveling to get a capture, it's gonna, in the long run, even out. Because while like you get this property much later, you're ending up getting other properties earlier. So the amount of income you'll make in the long term will be the same, but in the short term, it's very drastic, as we've seen already. Drake's already got a tank out. Is able to get another one, and all Andy has is 2 recons. Okay, but this recon does get a nice harassing attack in here. Drops the recon off in the on this peninsula. I'm not sure how useful that will be, but if there's nothing but infantry that attack here, it'll be pretty nice. I think usually a tank comes along, in which case I don't think the recon's gonna be super happy over here. It's very constrained in where it can go. It looks like Drake is just sticking to this tank pressure. Another nice recon hit over here. Looks like Andy is going to be able to deny this comm tower. It has moved up aggressively with this recon. Okay. So it kind of comes down to what does Drake want to do with all these tanks. And I would probably be like, I don't care about this peninsula. There's no way I can hold this. And I would just go ham and take these central properties. Maybe start rushing down to this peninsula and just trade. Looks like Andy is planning to bring an infantry and the artillery over here. Because if you trade peninsulas, then it is basically Drake has less invested in this peninsula than Andy does. So if you end up trading like this city for this city, you're really happy because you didn't invest in capturing this city, but Andy did invest in capturing this city, so you come out ahead in the overall economic game. Oh no, he split his army. Yeah. I do kind of like this tank positioning. It's cute. It doesn't cover the comm tower, but it covers these 2 tiles next. Like it doesn't cover every tile that could be used to hit this comm tower, but it does cover these 2, which are the most likely ones that Andy's going to use. But Andy could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 could go around to the one side that the tank can't hit from, which Andy does. Very nice. Very well done by Andy there. That's some proper harassment. This recon is super dead. This is not very good harassment on Andy's part. It's not going to die to these infantry, but they're just going to surround it, and then the tank's going to come over and kill it on the next turn. Ooh. Drake is now starting to invest in defending this. Oh, the infantry might not be coming around to surround it. Okay, well, Drake definitely should have just surrounded this recon with the infantry and then had the tanks come and kill it. That's okay. This recon gets away with it. Looks like this comm tower is almost interrupted. This infantry will get into position to interrupt it further. So it looks like... Oh, never mind. It decided to move over here. Oh, this one can also interrupt it. Okay. So Andy is going to be able to stop the comm tower from ever being captured, which is nice. Does lose a tank for it. That is what it is. Alright, Drake gets this nice kill, starts this capture. And this artillery was known about. So I don't expect to see Drake moving on into it. We do have a transport copter over here, very nice. That's the kind of situation where you'd like to be picking up a mech, but bringing in infantry over is pretty good also. I wouldn't want to drop off here though, because you're not threatening to do anything, unless the idea might be to make sure there's something that could interrupt the capture on this city if you're really worried about that. In which case I'd still think I'd prefer to drop off here. You could still potentially interrupt the capture there while also threatening to go for this capture, which would be nice. Okay, we do have our hit and then our hit. Deny the comm tower from Drake. It's really not that bad for Drake though, because this is making sure that the properties aren't being captured. But we have some nice 2-hit KOs with very cautious tanks here. The city will be captured. But so far, it looks like Andy has managed to actually stabilize this peninsula. But at any point, Drake can just shift these tanks over and kind of wipe this small force out. Oh. Drake is not willing to quite give this up, and it looks like Comm Tower might get captured in 2 turns. This is a very embarrassing situation. Just drive on over here, and then there's an artillery staring at you. And in this situation, what you do is, you bring both of these tanks over. You say, that's fine. The artillery can fire on my tank, but then my other tanks will kill it. Ooh, no, no, no. So here, Drake splits the tanks. This is not what you want to do. You want to keep these both over here to wipe this out and make sure you don't get caught out in a situation where you get outnumbered. This tank is super dead. Here comes the copter. Does that kill? There's no anti-airs from Drake here, so this is going to be a very, very strong copter for a very long time. Some recon coming in. It barely isn't able to get vision of this comm tower for a sacrificial charge. Now this is looking very good for Reborn right now. Drake had some pretty nice opportunities there. And it does look like they will be able to mop up this side for now, or the peninsula for now. But this copter from Andy is going to be pretty tough to deal with. Losing this tank does mean that the central presence for Drake is really sad. And then another tank gets placed into the danger zone for some reason. Drake is going to get this capture, which is nice. Or the comm tower. I probably would attack with the... I'd probably try and preserve my mech health, but it's fine. Ooh, okay. Andy not interested in fighting over here, which is fine. Just wants to clean up the center as much as possible. Then dropped off an infantry and an artillery. This is a little bit sketchy. The copter coming over here, though, is going to be a huge pain in the neck for Drake. Yeah, the super is close, so the mech will get healed. Oh, I stopped the laser. Okay. I do like... So I don't like that. So mechs, unless you've got like a mech chain going on, then I would much prefer if the mech stays back to defend other units, especially if it's injured. A 10 health mech is kind of okay to move up here because it's fairly durable. But this mech is a huge like opportunity for Andy. So if it's back here instead, then assuming the Drake super hits you, it gets knocked down to 5, and then you heal it back up to 10 with your own Andy super. It gets +1 movement and extra firepower, so it gets a lot of value out of it. If it moves up here, it just kind of can be killed off by infantry and the whatnot. I don't know where the Drake AAs are. That is also odd to me. Looks like Drake is going to try and rely on copters being the anti-copter unit, which is going to be really tough for Drake. Because his copters are 20% weaker with their firepower. And killing off anti-copters is especially important because they heal. The mech does get hit here. Sad days for the Andy mech. It might not get finished off though. It's pretty important to finish off the mech because even at 2 health, that will heal up to they'll heal up to 7 and do a very good amount of damage to a vehicle. Ooh, doesn't finish off this mech. So that's going to come back to bite Drake here, because I'm pretty sure Andy's going to get... Oh, never mind. There goes the mech. Andy's going to get the super here, so... Like, it's not killing... It's kind of weird to think about it, but when you're fighting Andy's units, you... And especially when the super's close, you don't look at them at their numbers. You're like, if I... Like, that's not a 3 health tank. That's an 8 health tank. That wasn't a 2 health mech. That was killing off a 7 health mech. These are 6 health infantry. So... Finishing off units just becomes so much more valuable. Okay, down goes Recon, down goes the copter, down goes the tank. We might not even see an Andy super here. Especially because these infantry are moving. That was very weird. So, if Andy did the super first, then you can use... Actually, you could already use either... It doesn't make any sense to go here if you're trying to check this city, whatever. Could have had an infantry hit here. Does decide to use it though. On over here. Kills. What is this? If you're going to use the recon, use it first. That way you get to preserve some more infantry health there. Okay, we have the mech zooming on forward. It is covering this tank, which is pretty nice. But I probably wouldn't have used the Andy super there because it looked like enough damage was getting done without its use. And if you do, because of this matchup, there is a little bit of a game of chicken going on with the supers. The amount of damage you do with the Andy super needs to be worth sucking up a Drake super in retaliation and not immediately healing off the damage. And I think the Andy super only got like 2 more kills. You might as well just hold on to it. in those situations. Although, so far Andy's units are doing just fine. I mean, they're being beat up. Rest in peace, Recon. A lot of these vehicles are living, so they'll get to pull back and be saved for the next Andy Super. Run away. The mech strike. Bam bam. Probably should have gone copter strike first to preserve the health on the mech. But that's okay. The mech would get taken out either way. We just get to have one more strike back first. Okay. The other thing I think Andy would really benefit from is investing in some higher tech units, or just sticking with a huge copter army. You can do that too. The Drake composition, I think, maybe should chill a bit on the copter production. So far, it's going to be okay. The anti-air did get taken out. But if this kind of keeps up, it'll be pretty easy for Andy to win out in the copter wars. Just because of Drake having, of course, weaker copters and Andy having pretty decent ones. A lot of aggression from Drake there. I think Drake definitely had the better exchange out of those supers. Okay, in comes anti-copter strike. Then don't do this. No. So similar to what I was saying before, that those weren't 1 health infantry, those are 6 health infantry. These aren't 2 health copters. These are 7 health copters. You just don't see it yet. You need to preserve them. You don't want to sacrifice 2 7 health copters in order to do 3 damage to a copter. No, no, no. That's okay. We have the Andy normal power here. Versus a heal. Like 13k? That's tough. The idea, I think, is you can use a normal power now and then another one after the Drake Super. Which might work out. But this does give Drake a whole bunch of attacks that won't give any charge to Andy. So we might get that Drake Super. We might even get a Drake normal power afterwards. But the Drake Super is probably going to hit before the next Andy power is online. Of course, Andy does get some stat boosts off of having the normal power active. Just the normal +10/+10, but still. Yeah, the Drake Super is looking pretty close. Okay. Andy's doing a pretty good job in the middle here cleaning up. And has managed to hold the peninsula. Really, both players have actually managed to hold their peninsulas pretty well. Similar to Drake's situation with not having an anti-air over here. Andy also doesn't have an anti-air over here, so this copter is a big problem. We have a Neo-Tank built, so no anti-air coming over to save the attacking Peninsula army, but we do have the big boy tank unit being built for Andy, which is good. Andy really likes those big units because they're hard to kill and the damage they take generates a lot of charge. So you can often get some really favorable engagements letting your big units do some work, and that spares you potential losses on your other units that can then instead get healed up. Right, here comes the Dracopter. Does stop that capture. Super stops that capture. Tank decided to stick around. Okay. Tank Drake over here. Very close to having a Drake super. If I guess Drake isn't interested in the super. If Drake wanted the super, the recon would just go hit this tank. Ooh, we have a scouting copter. Pretty interesting. It sees an infantry. So, an infantry there, which isn't going to be too surprising. Usually it's going to be this other base that it doesn't see that builds the vehicles, unless they're going to this peninsula, because it's way closer to the center. This one has to go all the way around this river. But this is a pretty decent use of the 1 HP copters. They make great scouts. Of course, if this was an Andy copter, you wouldn't be as incentivized to do this because it's not 1 health, it's 6 health. Okay, well, because there was no Drake power that turn, Andy's probably going to get the normal power at a reasonable time. So there's not going to be, or there will be a normal power available. Oof, is a pretty hard punish on not using the power, getting the Drake super too, because these units, of course, got to kill off Drake's central units, both by being nice and healthy, and also being able to move over the plains instead of having to deal with the rain. We have the Neo tank on its way. Drake now does use the super. Charge on in here. Gonna clear up the defenders on the peninsula so far. Very aggressively going for this capture. Not a ton of backup. I guess these guys are technically backing him up. Okay. And he needs like 1 engagement to use the normal power. This would be a pretty good normal power right after a Drake super. There it is. So that was a much better situation for Andy. Instead of using the super and then getting hit by the Drake super, it was the reverse. It was the Drake super, which then got canceled out by the Andy normal power. So in this matchup, you're usually trying to hold on to your powers for advantageous moments, where like the global damage that Drake deals allows him to get some kills, which then stops Andy from healing those units because they're gone. Or Andy can use the hyper upgrade to like heal up the army, move in and get a whole bunch of damage done before the global damage can hit him. If they're not well timed, as we kind of saw on both sides there, they kind of get nullified, which makes the matchup kind of interesting. Looks like Drake does not know about this artillery. Oh no. Andy is in a very nice spot here, except for this peninsula starting to fall, but otherwise I think Andy is gonna be able to pull this out. So many more units. And this actually is going to be able to start reinforcing the peninsula through the middle. Assuming the units on the way don't run out of fuel. Oh no! Rest in peace, Copter. You hate to see it. Against Drake, I would recommend getting an APC. For sure. Ooh. Double recon comes in to kill them. Oh, Andy did build an APC. Oh no, it's too late. Drake stops city capture. We have a lot of recons here. I did not notice that Drake built a second lander. Well, it can indeed pick up from this base and drop off over here. You can also just use this lander to do that. You can go back through here, which I would recommend over building another lander because those guys are expensive. He's trying to get a whole bunch of pickoffs here. This Drake tank barely survives. Right next to a Neo tank. I hate to see it. Drake Copter did get taken out. We do have some Drake anti-airs over here. At this point, this peninsula is no longer looking quite so secure, though. There's still no Andy anti-air got sent up here. Oh, did the 9 health Copter crash? Got to check. I'm pretty sure it did. Because they drained 2 fuel, right? Yeah. Starts the turn. Boop. The fuel does its job. This is a good break for Drake, but things are still looking mighty rough for our boy in blue. Does kill off that copter. Doesn't have anything really to deal with this Neo tank currently. So he's going to just try and attack. Give it, just overload it, give it too many targets. That'll work for a bit, but the Neo tank will wear it down. Don't know why the lander's picking up over here. It can pick up right here. Oh no, the Neo tank can't even reach this lander over here. That's really weird. Down goes the anti-air. And so it's looking super wrecked. Except there's no anti-air over here. So this copter can try and hold on. Andy decided to go with a hyper repair. That is gonna. Oh, it's gonna. Okay, so it's a hyper repair to take this city. This is some nice Andy tech. As you heal your units before capturing to get more capture point in. Boom, the city is taken. It's gonna be tough though because Drake will now have a super that can deal damage to everything. Well, Andy will not have that retaliation on the heal. It's gonna be kind of tough for Drake to take this back, so we'll see if it ends up being worth it. Here comes the Typhoon. Recon interrupts this capture. Copter interrupts that one. Copter interrupts that one. We do get that kill. So, if Andy hadn't healed it and taken the city, then the city would have been interrupted. In the super long term, the amount of value gained by being up that city will certainly be worth it. In the short term, it looks really nasty, though. And it also depends on whether or not Andy can stop Drake from just taking the city back, which does look kind of tough. The plane, or in the rain, the planes costs more movement for vehicles, which is why the Neo tank can't like reach this anti-air. Costs one more movement, I should say. For both wheeled and treaded units. As does the forests, I think. Yeah. Forest now costs 3 movement, and then plains is 2, so you can go there and there. And those Drake copters really threaten the Neo, not super effectively. They kind of can. Okay. Very aggressive with these recons. Does see a lot of copters. Pick off this recon, which is nice. You can stop your opponent's vision. It's always good. Rest in peace, copter. In comes the Neo tank. Would have been a lot faster if the lander picked it up here, or if it was just built from here. But I will be able to fight Andy's own Neo tank. But Drake's actually ahead in income. Because of this city, these 2 cities, okay. This Neo tank has gotten so many kills. Pop it. Okay. These tanks have managed to save this comm tower. There's still no anti-air coming up this way, so this Drake copter can hold down this peninsula pretty effectively. Still no anti-air for Andy over here. Andy is up 10 units, which is quite a few. Neo tank approaches. Now it won't one-shot an 8 health Neo tank, but it will be able to kill it if a Drake power gets popped. Like if Andy doesn't heal off the damage and then Drake is able to use the normal power. Oh. Andy's black boat sinks. Andy falls back. It looks like this city's going to get captured, which will make the early power usage very not great. Some central pressure here. We have a Neo tank, very bold Neo tank attack over here. I don't think Drake knows which direction Andy's Neo went, but he is actually safe here. I guess some copter harassment can happen for it, but okay. What does Andy want to do here? Should probably start getting... I mean, a lot of Andy copters is pretty good. Go straight for a bomber, okay? They're always going to be nice. Just because they're kind of hard to kill off. Without resorting to anti-airs. A lot of these units just get picked off. ABC comes into block. Still, it's gonna be a double base skip for the bomber. Still no anti-air over here. So Drake is able to hold that peninsula. Anti-air does kill a copter. Down goes this anti-air maybe. Which means this city is gonna... Andy will be able to save this city, but it will take a super. Kill off the 2 helicopter. Okay. Ooh. Drake aggressively swings in here. He's going to get blown away by these artillery. So a nice setup for Andy. Just needs an anti-air over here. I assume we're going to see the super get used because it lets the Neo tank hit this Neo tank. And there's lots of healing to do. I guess we're not going to see the super get used. Because otherwise you wouldn't want to move the bomber yet. Okay, Andy is not interested in going for the Neo tank. Go for some copter hits, sure. I mean, it does mean that the game of chicken is still afoot. No reason to rush the Neo tank kill, I guess. You got the bomber here after all. Totally fine. Very patient. I like it. I like it. We'll see. Now this puts Drake in an awkward spot where you need to do quite a bit of damage with the Drake super. This needs to get like some kills. Otherwise, all that damage will get healed up. You'll get absolutely bopped by that Andy super. Oh no, the 1 health tanks. Okay, 1 dies. Kills off an infantry. The APC went down, but there's another one. Talking about this one, or both of them, I guess. Yeah, only got 4 fuel left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they'd be able to spot them moving out. They like, I guess they like sitting here and seeing stuff get unloaded, which is also fine. Okay, Andy super. Whoa. Don't know why you wouldn't Andy super right away. That's okay. Neo tank gets revealed. Neo tank gets bopped down to 2 and then taken out by this copter strike. Ooh, there, okay. There isn't an anti-air over here, but there is a copter. And his own Neo tank can just aggressively move forward now. Looking pretty good. There's still a lot of artillery here. Okay, this copter is finally going to fall. It did a really good job holding this area, though. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of a single copter strike hitting a Neo tank. Yeah. I much prefer if you have multiple copters that can hit it. But yeah, if just one hits it, it's not a super great trade. Okay, I think Andy's going to be able to mop everything up. For the most part, it's going to be really tough to deal with all of these big units and flyers for Drake. The bomber goes over here, which isn't super great, but it's at least very safe over here. Although, as Andy, especially, you're not too worried about an anti-air hitting your bomber. Anti-airs don't one-shot bombers unless they have, like, plus 30% firepower. And bombers are worth a lot, so that gives you a ton of charge when you get hit by an anti-air. We have another Neo tank built by Drake. Okay. Andy spares this copter its life. And then tries to take it out with some tanks. Sure. Going for some more captures over here. Looks like things are turning very yellow. There's nothing over here to deal with these Andy copters now. It's been a recurring theme in this game is anti-airs not being able to hold these different areas. Ooh. So we have the Drake normal power. This will give not a kill on this Neo tank, probably, but a hefty swing. Well, maybe. 4 health, 3 health, 2 health. It definitely comes down to luck rolls as to whether or not the Neo tank would die. Dororo resigns. Yeah. Even if the Neo tank does die, the bomber gets to come over and kill this Neo tank. You see how much charge? Even after multiple powers have been used, like you get a ton of charge off of your Neo tank getting hit. GG. Helicopter spam is underrated. It can be very effective. The Drake, I'll say the Drake Beecopter spam into the middle was actually working out pretty well. For quite a while there. GG. You can see the matchup, the power use in the matchup can be so weird. As for when you want to use your different powers. In relation to how well or how close your opponent is to using their powers. We have a Havits game. I believe Havits went to bed. It's Havits versus caophananh. I had no idea I had so many Havits games. Maybe it's easier to look up the other player. There we go. This is a desktop app, yeah. Go7 Havits fan confirmed. You can find the replay viewer on it. Well, I think I have it in the description, but you can also find it, I believe, in community development on the community development channel in the Discord. The pinned messages. Check. Yes, you can. Copy message. My chat. I don't know how well this will work, but yeah, you can't play the game on the desktop. What browser are you using, I guess? I usually play on Chrome, but you can play on other ones. Of course. Havits isn't here to stop me, so I'm going to turn him into the penguins. That's Scavenger. Scavenger Olaf versus Olaf. Chinese, Indian, or American food tonight? Go with Chinese. Okay, so Scavenger is my least favorite fog map. Just, it's not a bad map. I just don't like playing on it. Havits isn't here to stop me. Exactly. There's a few different openings you can go for. There's a recon, there's artillery, and there's tank. The T-copter opening I have yet to see be super effective. I assume you could also go for like a battle copter opening, but I wouldn't be super happy about that one. Okay, so we have a fast artillery from Cow, who went with the middle placement with it. Usually you see the artillery get built from this base and it like wraps around over here to fire on the pipe seam, but you can fire from it over here. It just means that you are going to start from further back after the pipe seam is taken out Oh, they're both going for the pipe seam. It decides to attack from here down here. That's fine too. It's artillery into recon. Pretty much the exact same opener otherwise. Ooh. Havits is not going for the pipe seam. So the other thing you can do with this earthly artillery is you can go for one of these central forests to lock down some properties, or you can even rush the black boat on the HQ. Usually if you rush the black boat, it's a double artillery opener. That way you can kill the black boat in just 2 turns. So it looks like it might be just a defensive artillery, but we do have tanks coming out from here. So very aggressive play from Havits. This city right here is very vulnerable to being denied. That might be Havits' plan here. We have some scouting done by this recon. If Havits is paying attention, he'll be checking this pipe seam and will know that this was an artillery first build and that the artillery is still up here. So there can't really be that much in the way of defenses on any of these fronts. The king has spoken and you have no free will. Chinese it is. Okay, so Havits isn't going to try and rush down the HQ. Is just going to use it in the central forest to protect this capture and deny this one for now. It does have a double tank follow-up, so while this infantry can come over here and deny from here, revealing the artillery and then the recon strikes, Havits will be able to clean that up very nicely. Havits pretty much should have no fear advancing when seeing these artillery strikes. But then once the pipe seam's gone, you've got to keep in mind there's going to be a lot of vehicles in this vicinity. Havits decides to just back off. Sure. Ooh. Recon survives at 1. That's a big deal. Since 1 health recons scout just as well as a full health recon. It just means it can't really do much harassment anymore. But this is pretty good news for Cow in that they got to go for the pipe seam break early on and didn't have these cities denied to them, which is going to be something that you would often see because it's just so safe to go for attacks down here. When the first Bison artillery, it just stays around here, and you know that they're breaking the pipe seam to send stuff through it, which means that they're not sending the units down here. Ooh, very sad face for Havits here. The tank does end up getting the kill on the infantry with some help, but he's in the range of the opposing artillery. Is a tank on a city, so definitely not the end of the world. The anti-air decides to go straight up here. Do we see another anti-air built here? So it's an anti-air per front? No. Copter tank. Okay. So Havits is about to be really sad as this copter comes in and finishes off this tank. As well as sad about this harassment, although there is a tank over here from Havits, but double tank coming forward from Cow. Looks pretty scary. Ooh, actually this tank went down. Okay. So getting these captures is really good for Cow. Havits is going to get this one, but not this one. Okay, and we get to fall back because of this copter harassment, and because this is an Olaf versus Olaf game, a lot's going to come down to who can get that super first. Because if you get the super first, then you have a turn where you have 10 health and they have 8 health, and you also have your power boost. And then when they use their power, you're just equal. You both have 8 health units. And then you start generating charge sooner because you get off of the power mode half a turn earlier, which means you start generating charge for the next super earlier. So the person who gets the very first super tends to get the second super, and so on and so forth. And it's just really hard to make up for that charge advantage that the first super user gets. You have to lose a lot of stuff to catch up. Just not great. Or do a ton of damage. Have it sent to AA to kill an infantry? Gotta check. Have it did send the AA to kill an infantry. So this isn't too bad. Usually you don't want to send your anti-air towards the front lines if it's the only thing you have to defend you against copters, because they can then kill off your anti-air and then the copters come in and mess up your army. In this case, the anti-air is kind of shielded. It has some tank support and it's on a city, so it would take a double hit to kind of take it out of the game, but it's still somewhat dangerous. Usually my rule of thumb is if you use an anti-air like this aggressively, then you immediately build a replacement anti-air. You just gotta assume your anti-air is gonna die. There is an anti-air down here. It could potentially be a replacement. Okay, you have the medium tank moving forward here. A bunch of infantry strikes. Tanks did not hit the anti-air, they hit the other tanks. This anti-air came in and did 5 damage to this artillery. A very aggressive use of an anti-air. So I would expect this to be dying. We'll see if there is one anti-air over here that can help replace it. There isn't another one built. We'll see how Havits approaches this. Might end up ignoring the anti-air is what. No, it's gonna kill it because this is covering against this copter right now. Pop. Pop. And that's why you don't usually attack with the anti-air, but luckily there is another one back here and this copter, so it's not completely going to be a blowout in the overall engagement. And on the bright side for Cow, it looks like they're going to get the super first. Which is always really, really good for Olaf in the mirror. It's also up 3k in income. Pretty good. Maybe he isn't going to get the super first? Or close. Oh, he's 200 more. That has a tank here. What a sacrifice. Needs 50 more. What? No! Oh no. Well, you don't want to have to sacrifice a copter. Oh no. Okay. Well, Cow is short by 50 charge and didn't want to lose the 1 health tank to get it. You 100% lose the 1 health tank to pop the super. It's so much better to pop first. In this case, Havits is going to be able to, I assume. Yeah, Havits might not, because there isn't any scouting going on to find any units to kill. Or to, like, vehicles to fight. Basically, if Havits found this medium tank, then very easily get the charge. Wow, okay. Havits. The two players are just not feeling too pressured about the whole getting the power first thing here. Very lucky for Cow there. We have very sneaky infantry. I mean, if it can get on this mountain, that's some good vision. Okay. It looks like Cal might not use the power. You use it. So, I can understand why you would think, I don't want to use it. It's because, like, there's no... Okay, the Winter Fury is happening. Okay. If you're like, oh, I'm not attacking anything, so it's not that great. But the 2 damage sticks around. And the sooner you can use your super, the sooner you start charging up for your next super. In fact, it's possible here that Habits doesn't even get enough charge for his super. In which case Cal might lap with charge. Oh. Habit is probably gonna get enough charge. There's a retaliation Winter Fury. Everything's at 8 health. Okay. Very weird. Usually there's like a big old fight going on when the powers go off. In this case, both powers went off fairly peacefully. But here, we'll see how much this is why Cow is pretty much always going to get the super first from now on, because this turn in particular, all of the engagements only give charge to Cow, although so far these engagements haven't been that big. Okay, there we go. Pretty good. So a 7,800 charge lead. That's somewhat overcomable. B-boat. Oh, there is a B-boat for Cow. Well, that'll help heal stuff up. And I mean, a black boat's pretty good on this map. You can see these really narrow shoal pathways that you can block off with it. Okay. Gets the artillery, which is nice. Big old brawl. The infantry, only the the infantry are up here. The vehicles are down here. And we have the sneaky penguin seeing all back here, which is really nice. Got the transport copter. Pretty good build. Habits is up a lot in unit count here. Cow does get this city, so it's actually up by 4k right now. Down goes this anti-air. Probably a little aggressive to move in with these tanks, though. Okay, no copters being built. So usually when you're feeling like you're behind in unit count, you start cranking out a ton of copters. The state of fog tier 2. Medium tank doesn't have a great answer for it yet. I would probably not go for that attack unless I was really confident that there's no anti-airs. But I guess there's a lot of tanks here for Habits that can kind of clean up any of the support for the medium tank. I would at least attack from this side, though, with the copter. No reason to give extra reach to them. Okay, we do get the nice pickoffs over here. Cow actually has a huge lead in the charge now, just because Habits has actually been destroying in this fight over here. And when you take charge is determined by gaining 100% of the value lost in charge and 50% of the value dealt in charge. So when you're losing fights, you generate more charge, usually. Cow looks like to be running out of infantry. Down to 6. Ooh, that's rough. Okay, there we go. We have to do the copter build there. Cow is up 4k, which is a very respectable amount. This can sometimes happen when you're up in income, is that your standing army has to keep being sacrificed in order to hold on to that income. And in that case, effectively you have less money being generated per turn than you would think because you're losing so much. Oh no, the sneaky infantry's been spotted. It knew it was spotted though, and it goes hides in the corner. Okay, that's a lot of tanks moving in on this HQ. We do have the Winter Fury popped. Winter Fury popped way before Habits can. Okay, well, it'll take a while for the tanks to kill this black boat. Although it is at 6 health. Sneaky infantry, no! I guess it's okay. It's okay because the medium tank only has 1 sight range. We'll be okay. We had an infantry hiding in the black boat. Looks like Habits is just going to go for a big old front switch rather than trying to go for this HQ. But there is not going to be a Winter Fury this turn. Nowhere close to enough charge. Which hurts a lot. We're attacking on in here. It's the tank. Actually, like, no backup for this tank. So this is pretty much just a free attack for Cow. Habits loaded 12k here, so I assume we're going to see a battleship built. That's the only thing I think you would float that much money to build, and it is something that can save your HQ. With the front switch. Oh no, there was too many repair costs. Habits loaded so much money and still unable to afford the battleship. You can just join together some tanks. If need be, even join together anti-airs, I guess. Like the 5 can join the 10 or the 7. Just goes for the Neo tank instead. Okay. That works too. Also blocked the harbor, so no way that there was going to be a battleship. You demand a Habits MD. The infantry is still in play. You could make a rocket to cover the HQ. That works too. It takes 2 turns to get in position for most COs. For Sturm, it takes 1. But look how annoying that black... Oh, that's a great placement of that black boat. Look at that. And in come the tanks. Habits is going to be able to clear this though, because I believe with the Winter Fury, the Neo tank should be able to kill it. But that's still a Neo tank not hitting a tank. And Habits is going to be getting 2 cities here. So this is a really good turn for Habits, who was down 5k. We are going to get the Winter Fury here. It's going to do a ton of damage, so you can get some artillery shots. Was down 50k at the start of this turn in value. There's like about 30k-ish dealt there. Goodbye, Blackboot. Oh, it lived at 1! Oh. Lots of hits on these tanks. All this charge is being generated. Looks like Habits is going to get lapped in supers pretty soon. A very good front switch. All of these tanks are kind of trapped in here, forced to fight. Habits does build a rocket. Okay, so Habits at the start of that turn was behind by 50,000 and then ended it ahead by 20,000. So that was a 70,000 value shift of a turn. Very good for Habits. And Cal is getting very close to another super. Couldn't that black boat also stop a B ship from covering the HQ? That's true. You could even stop a B ship from ever being built, which would be very funny. You build a black boat and go camp on their harbor like a punk. Oh, it was a base skip for the rocket. Oh, you're right. The rocket better get value. Okay. Poor medium tank. Can't get much done. Sneaky Penguin has survived. That's true. Unit count works against you, of course, against global damage. Oftentimes, what you can do against global damage is join units together. Because if you have like 2 5-health tanks, for instance, if you join those together, you now have a 10-health tank, and if they get hit by the super, they will be an 8-health tank. But if you have 2 5-health tanks and they get hit by the super, now you have 2 3-health tanks. And if you join those together, you only get a 6-health tank. So you do save yourself quite a bit of damage if you join your weakened units together against global damage COs. It can be a very big difference. Like, this would be a prime example of if these units weren't fighting, of when you would be joining units together. Because, like, if your army is nothing but 4-health tanks, and then you get hit by Winter Fury, you're going to lose half of your army value as all of those 4-health tanks go down to 2 health. But if they all join together to 8-health tanks, you're only going to lose a quarter of your army value. Which is a big difference. That... I guess that's fine. I probably would have thought about having the 3-health tank kill this. I'm not a huge fan of the base skip. That's okay. It does let all these tanks get very active. Oh. So like here, the 6-health tank should join with a 4-health tank. One-health tanks don't care. You're not going to go from 1 to... The global damage can't kill you. Did not join. Yeah, here. Sure. There's a very, very large charge lead. Was almost able to lap Habits. We have another black boat built. I mean, the first one did do a lot of great blocking. I was getting that super. So this is going to do a ton. Yeah, that was like over 30,000 damage when Habits only had 120,000. So that was about a quarter of Habits' army value right there. Very painful. But that does mean that there isn't as much pressure put on Habits currently to join units together, because it will be a while before the global damage hits again. there are 3 1 health tanks. The Habit's army has been fighting hard. I mean, once all of your units are at 1 health, then their global damage won't lower your army value at all. Ah, now these join together. Good. Down goes that poor anti-air. Blackboat's ready to pick up some infantry. Very, very sad moment for Habits here with a tank and an infantry in range to interrupt this capture, but neither of them healthy enough to actually do it. Top level looks like a tank Sudoku. True. Okay. The medium tank, it's entering the fray again. Our ninja infantry still scouting out. Actually, there's nothing over here. If some follow-up healthy ninja infantry can make it over, then there's free captures. Nice repair and hit the copter. I like it. Spots the artillery, kills the artillery. Very good. You hit 2 health damage there. I'd probably, I don't know. One thing you can do with 1 health units, you can use them as blockers, but also when units join together, they top off their health. So if you're like, this is an injured 7 health, if this is like a low 7, then joining a 1 into it will make it a max 8. Which can be very useful. It's true, they do make for very good sacrifices. They are guaranteed to die. Day 23, that property is still neutral. That's true. Cow does get this. Kills off that artillery. Or not artillery, anti-air. Well, isn't quite able to get the surround on the Neo tank. That would have been pretty devastating. I don't see a way to surround the Neo tank. Unless this helicopter could have gone somewhere else. No, it can only go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess you could still do it if you use the artillery as part of the wall and then the copters here, but it's okay. Neo tank is able to escape. We get to see pop. Okay. Cow is actually starting to catch up in this army, the unit count. The ninja infantry does spot the recon, seeing it, and goes and hides in the corner. Medium tank runs away. Medium tank gets spotted. Oh no, 1 health tank fails to get the kill. Will one of its fellows avenge it? No, they refuse. They're gonna go guard the rocket instead. The 1 health infantry stands tall. Need to be infantry. You don't see tank losing to infantry every day. You do not. Oh no. There's no hope left. The recon is not gonna let that guy get away. Chat, look away. Oh, we have a stealth. I'm not a huge fan of stealth against global damage in general. It's really bad against... Well, usually it's really bad against Olaf and really bad against Drake. Because their weather either drains its fuel or just slows it down. Rest in peace, infantry. Havoc going in for the big attack here. Wasn't able to get the super. That's okay. Cat wasn't really close to getting the lap super yet. F for the infantry will be remembered. Oh. By tank. Does the recon spare it? No. The recon has no mercy. Down goes the anti-air. Stealth sneaking forward. There's no... That was the only anti-air, and that's the only copter, so this copter will stand tall. You take moves forward, okay. I was almost caught up in the unit count. We do have a winner fury here. Pop, 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 pop. Does knock the stealth down to 8. There's a black boat though, it could repair it. That might be... It's probably worth it too. We have such a large indirect cluster from Havets here. Really wants to take these cities. In the memory of the ninja infantry, of course. Oh no, I'm losing. Super. Oh no, I'm winning. Counter super. Oh no, both of us have no units. Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to assume this black boat's going to be used for the stealth. Havets doesn't quite have the spidey senses in fog right now. So we don't see the fighter being built or the fighter being saved up for. Usually you can tell when a stealth's on its way because it tends to take 2 turns of economic drain to get one. And you'll just notice when the reinforcements suddenly dry up and you're like, ah, something invisible is on its way. And then you build a fighter. But that's okay. You can also just let the stealth show itself by hitting you. It's not like they do a ton of damage. Yes, the black boat is repairing it. Ooh, Havets does save up cash. So maybe some spidey senses are tingling. Does the stealth reveal itself? This is also a tough part of the stealth. In standard, the stealth is revealed on build. So you can go for petty attacks like killing off a 4 health recon. But in fog, it's like, do I want to reveal my stealth in order to kill a 4 health infantry? In order to kill a 4 health recon? The answer is apparently no. Now, you don't really want to move down this way with the stealth because it is getting closer to the airport. And fighters are really fast, and they absolutely destroy stealths. Nope. Do we have a fighter build? Did the spidey senses tingle? No. It's the Neo tank. Okay. We have the Cow Winter Fury. Aren't as many super injured units left, so it's not going to be as devastating, but it still does like 40,000. The stealth reveals itself to kill a tank. Now you can also hope that your opponent doesn't watch the replay, in which case the stealth could potentially get a lot done. Not sure why this infantry decided to attack this recon. Okay. This is where we find out. Well, Havit's actually has 14k left in the bank. We have to join to build a fighter. Rocket's on its way. Three strikes here. Havit's just nowhere near getting a Winter Fury. Triple infantry buy? Okay. Havit's... Well, Havit's can see it with this guy too. Stealth looks trappable. Almost. There's a lot of supporting units for it right now. It's killed the tank so far. It has to do a lot. If it can take out this Neo tank, then it'll be worth it. Or it's killed a tank and now an infantry. Keeping in mind that stealths do cost 24,000. So it's ignoring the fact that both of those units were injured. It's now paid off 8,000 of that. On its way. It's almost halfway there. Although it did get repaired twice, so I guess it's not really almost halfway there. And those were also 8,000. Anyway. And those were injured units. Anyway, the fighter gets built. Very sad news for the stealth. The cluster of artillery can be moving up here. I think this rocket hasn't done much. I think it's fired at least once, though. Medium tank was on the road near the Neo, that's true. But this is the one thing that stealths are pretty good at. They can do a decent chunk to Neos. Kempelhoff. A31. Cow back in an income lead, 24k to 20. Run away, stealth, run away. We have a rocket built. Okay, now it's 21 to 23. Your tank dives forward. No fear, since now the fighter is here. There's no... Usually the tactic is to build some anti-air so that you can potentially snipe the fighter. Yeah, we have no air units from Cow besides the stealth. So these anti-airs will be a little sad, although they... Well, there's just two copters. But they can always kill off infantry. Yeah, we have no anti-air at all from Cow. Another rocket. Wow, that's an aggressive move with that medium tank. Now, medium tanks don't super love being hit by Neo tanks, even on cities. These rockets are so slow. I really don't like the rocket buys from either player. I mean, I don't think this one has done anything. I already killed this black boat, the 1 HP black boat. Yeah, that goes the medium tank. It just keeps going up and down and up and down. It cost extra money because it got repaired from the Winter Furies. That's the same thing's going to happen with these guys. Did he get a few shots off? I must have missed it. Alright. It goes down. This is looking pretty tough for Cow to hold. Although, I mean, when it comes to walls for a rocket, it's hard to beat Blackboat on a harbor and then a stealth. It's out of range of this fighter. This is the kind of formation that you look at that and you're like, I wonder where the stealth is. Did Cow go for the biggest bluff and left the open side to me? Alright, a triple rocket. They're just so slow. The fighter's just hanging back, okay. Double property capture coming out from Habits here. Out does go in for the interrupts. Double recon transport copter. You gotta like how sometimes in the late game, the builds just become early game builds. You're like, well, in the early game, you go for triple infantry because that's all you can do. And then the late game, you still go for triple infantry. You need them. Oh, rocket has now moved back up here. Falling back. Looks like we're just going to give this city back to Cow, I guess. Fighter very patiently chills. Honestly, it's kind of looking like Habits could have gotten away with not building a fighter at all. I don't think Cow has even seen this fighter. Stealth chilling. Okay, we do have a little property trade here. Goes that recon. We have the Winter Fury from Habits. Gonna do a lot of damage. Like 40,000. Also interrupts this capture. Bunch of infantry pop. Rocket moves forward. More tanks. Fighter's not even covering everything. It's why did it move up one? Oh. Then Cow times out, I assume. Either that or they accepted the draw. Timeouts shows a draw. Well, Habits looks to be in a pretty good spot. Cow has a lot invested in triple rocket stealth, which are typically not great units for brawling. And they were about to brawl. There is 40, it's true, there's 41k banked. Very weirdly, with 41k banked, there was also a base skill. So, an odd build there. But you got to see some Olaf versus Olaf brutality. And Habits does come away with the W despite being Olaf who got the second super. Which is pretty tough to do. The poor stealth wasn't quite able to pay itself off. It was trying though. You often get the W despite being the second to lightning strike. That's tough. Got here Kyzeryagon versus TISAPTDMC. TISAPTDMC. On Adrenaline, this looks like it's Global League. Hawke versus Sensei. Every time you bait the lightning strike to your base reinforcements and lightning strike with base, that's true. That's something you can do. It is a little... It's kind of hoping your opponent blunders it. But if they do, then you're good. Okay, we have Hawke versus Sensei. You face to the left because that's where your double base is. You can face to the right. Okay, we have a very weird pre-deployed missile. It's stopping the lander from moving out, and it's also stopping builds from the airport. And then there's comm towers in the very center here. A fun fact, if you are Javier and you have your comm tower, then you can just build a copter and the missile can't kill you. It like knocks you down to 1, and then you heal up to 3 when your turn starts, and then you fly out and go kill the missile slowly. So yeah, you can kill this off with artillery, you can kill it off with a mech in the mountain, you can kill it off with a rocket. One of these guys is going to expect to see some priority put on clearing this. Get a lot of copters out there from Tisa right here. And it looks like an artillery will be possible next turn. Looks like they're just doing it for the same build. Doesn't build the artillery. It's too bad. Would have been very spicy. In fact, I think the artillery is probably the correct buy here for Sensei. Or a mech. Artillery goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mech goes 1, 2. Yeah, I think a mech would be a better buy. Sensei. Although an artillery still works for Sensei as the game progresses, because the indirects work well with the huge swarms of infantry that you end up getting. I guess you can also just use an infantry to kill the missile, but it'll take a long time because they're surprisingly resilient to machine gun fire. Ooh, that's also true. I like that idea, Fluffy. If you're Sensei, you just build the copter, and then you get, I guess you build 2 copters, and you just give yourself your normal power really early on. Okay, well, it might be resilient to infantry fire, but not, I guess, Sensei infantry fire. That would have been a very spicy... Also has no defensive stars. A very spicy opening. There isn't quite enough cities captured yet to make it worthwhile, but I like that idea. Missile trucks are well known for being bullet resistant. Obviously not shell resistant, as this is very weird by Hawke, by the way, to kill off the missile this turn and then not build anything from the airport. There's also another airport here. This is a double airport map. Oh boy. I would highly recommend getting transport copters early on for these central cities, because Sensei is going to want to be spawning on the front lines here. And Hawke is going to want to be stopping that from happening. There we go. Now we have a transport copter. Some central cities are starting to be approached. This anti-air is a big problem for Sensei. Well, looks like... of course, since a missile costs 12k, and you get 50% of the damage you deal, if both players kill the missiles, it is a normal power for both. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good for Sensei, but we'll see when Sensei decides to use it. This would have been this is a possible turn to use it, because you'll be able to deny this city capture. You could potentially use it next turn to try and deny this city capture. I would probably have used it right there. But that's just me. It's not a huge deal to delay it. Getting brought out to the middle, the APC's getting used. Looking good. We got the fighter being built. Answer to this other fighter. Just a strike over here. I think Sensei should probably have used it by now. Still wants to save it. Okay. Return from eating steak. Congratulations. There's been some pretty brutal games today. Right now we got Sensei versus Hawke, and there's a missile starting on this map from behind both of these mountains. They both have the normal power, but Sensei hasn't quite used theirs yet. It's too bad because there was 2 interrupts potentially available for it. And the more you delay using it, the better this is for Hawke. Because the unit count limit is still 50. And Hawke loves fighting against a large number of units, especially when he has a large number of units. Because that global damage just works out really well that way. So it's really on Sensei to get a lot of damage done early on, so that he doesn't just die from all the black storms. But right now it looks like they've just split the map in half, and Hawke is actually approaching the unit cap right now, which will mean that Sensei will not have much of an advantage. Looks like Sensei's just going to save up for the super, though. Judging by how nothing's happened. We have a missile bot. We got a battleship bot. This is a pretty good battleship to push Sensei back here. Bomber built. Oh, Sensei flies daringly into the missile range. That will give a lot of charge. Although it's just going to overcharge Sensei. Oh no! Sensei goes for the copter command now. Well, that means there won't be any charge from the fighter dying. We do have a lot of, or not even a lot, we have a few infantry on infantry strikes, which is what Sensei likes to go for. Have to join some of these guys together in order to get some nice not kills, open up spots for production. Okay. We'll see how Hawke handles this. Almost has the normal power, but probably will just save up for the super. Yeah, the attack looks really iffy over here. Give the missile strike. You got the battleship covering this. There's a bunch of anti-airs. But we'll see. A nice blocker with this lander. Okay, comes on in. Hawke is getting really close to the unit count limit. Then Sensei's advantage is all gone. Okay, we're 48 to 42. A mech strike on the medium tank. We're gonna have a Hawke Black Storm on this next turn. Bomber does kill this. It doesn't. Oh, it doesn't get the kill. Wow, that sucks. Still finds a way to break through a bit. The missile is actually going to get to kill the bomber. So that was some pretty decent damage. You could spawn some mechs, I guess. Or no, you can't. There's actually not a Sensei. Super. So just a normal power. That's a pretty sad normal power. It spawns 4 infantry. You probably don't use that. Dink, dink, dink. Okay. The Black Storm. I know, this missile's killed a fighter and it's gonna kill a bomber? Black Storm does... casual 70,000. Like one does, and then down goes the bomber. And down goes the fighter. Down goes the medium tank. And down goes the anti-air. They're looking very rough over here. Kills the copter. There's this recon. And Sensei hold over here. Probably not if the bomber's charging in like that. This looks like the situation where you just reverse this attack order. If the Neo-Tank kill the anti-air and the bomber kills the Neo-Tank. I guess you don't need to reach the fighter. And this is potentially something you can protect if the fighter goes here and you have blockers on the other side. I imagine is the idea. That's the only reason I can think of that you would swap that order. Although this Neo-Tank's super dead. There's a rocket. Oh, the rocket's on the base. Okay, I guess not. Okay, Sensei is behind in unit count by a lot. Actually behind in infantry count, which is a little embarrassing. It's a 99 to 108 roll. Was that the Sensei bomber versus the Neo-Tank on the shoal? Okay, so it's very nice to clear these cities for as Sensei, because you can spawn mechs on them. Oh, but of course Sensei doesn't have the charge for the mech, so it's just going to be a bunch of infantry. So a little unfortunate. If Sensei hadn't gone for the copter command last turn, then we could have had the frontline mechs being spawned, which would be nice. do have the breakthrough over here. Bomber lives at 1. There's no charge being gained for Hawke here. Although the fight over here still looks really good for Hawke. Okay, but Sensei does have the unit count lead, which is good. If Sensei's main goal is to try and trade out all of these free infantry for Hawke's infantry, and then when Hawke is out of infantry, you can't, Hawke can no longer really take your stuff. And your infantry just get in the way of his vehicles in these fights. So far, looking pretty good. Very aggressive over here. I imagine it's just all a push to try and take this lab. In fact, this lab was trying to be taken by Sensei. The missile still survives. It's gotten 2 kills. Looking good. Just had the fighter. Even a base skip. Even a base skip on this front, which is a little spicy. And then Sensei does resign here, though. Way behind in unit value. These poor bombers weren't going to be able to get in there without dying to the missile. The missile did a great job. One of the best missiles I've ever seen. Yeah, the Sensei normal powers were a little iffy. For sure. Gets it back with this? No, it doesn't. You could still build something and do this. A missile's worth its weight in funds, yeah. A fighter and a bomber. Another underdog CO victory. I don't know if I would say that's an underdog CO. Sensei doesn't like the big maps, he likes the tiny maps. As you saw, the fighting didn't even happen until they were close to the unit cap. But Sensei could have used the power more aggressively. Try and get it done. Which is kind of what he has to do. Okay. He can be tricky. I must have misspelled this. Ark. I must have just typed it in wrong then. Settles as Stillwater version 3. Hawke versus Grit. Well, there's going to be lots of Hawke games coming. Well, Hawke Pros, we're back. Okay. Almost already yellow coming. Okay, so the changes to version 3. Version 2 added the lander, and version 3 changed the center a bit. So this pipe seam section is smaller. Or this pipe section is smaller, it doesn't have the pipe seam anymore, and there's one less central city. It's now a missile platform. I think that city just got removed. Unless it got moved up here. I think that's the main change. Good luck, Fluffy. It used to be a lab. Gotcha. Now it's a city. Okay. The main changes. Grit is allowed in Fog of War, but he's always over tiered. So he's going to have a tough time And the reason for that is they don't want a meta that's ever dominated by Grit, because Grit mirrors are no fun to play. And fighting against Grit is in general no fun to play. So, to play against. So whenever Grit's allowed, he's going to be the underdog. And Grit has a tough time in Fog of War because to use indirects very well, you need to have a lot of vision. And when your direct units are kind of wimpy, they can just kind of get wiped out, and then they're not providing vision very well, or they're not able to wall very effectively. And in this case, ArtyParty delayed sending the lander up here, which is a little weird. But ArtyParty might not be familiar with this map, so that would be why. It's going to hurt their econ just a tiny bit. It's not the huge, not like the biggest deal. We have our first artillery. I imagine we're going to see a lot of artillery being produced or dropped off with this lander up here, which will be pretty nice. We have this tank gets dropped off just in time to deal with this recon. Very nice. Very nicely timed out by our Hawke player. It was a little weird. The artillery got built here and it's going to do a very long walk all the way up the back. Okay. There's another artillery. Down goes that recon. Rest in peace. These things happen. A double capture on these harbors, so no more lander drop-offs for a tiny bit here. This is a pretty nice position for the artillery, but it's a little too far back. I guess because of this tank placement, it makes you fearful, but the tank has no way of having vision for this kind of attack. So we're going to see probably Hawke just like take over most of the map and then slowly envelop Grit's position. Here comes, you can see how scary it is. Fog maps are also often very open, so it's hard to find those choke points that Grit loves so much. So the big difference between version 1 and version 2 is there's a slight difference in the shoals here, and you start with a lander instead of a black boat. And then the difference between version 2 and version 3 is that there's one less city here, it got moved down to here, and the pipe is one tile shorter. You removed the pipe seam and squished it together. Okay, Hawke has an artillery of their own. So right now, Grit is behind by a fair bit in the economy, ending the turn 2k behind, which isn't great, but it's kind of expected as Grit. You have a really hard time holding anything. I'm surprised this recon didn't hit the artillery. Did it not see it? No, it saw it. Or even the tank could hit it. But very sad for Grit. This can't actually hit. Neither of these guys can actually hit this recon. Oh, that actually doesn't cover that. Oh my gosh, poor Grit. Getting picked apart. It's very hard to know what you're defending against in Fog of War going artillery only. Oh my gosh. Grit with the nerves of steel. Well, Hawke should absolutely stomp this. We'll see what happens. It's possible that Hawke will kind of get intimidated by so many artillery together. It doesn't look like it. So we do have one artillery shot on the tank, which isn't the worst thing in the world. The infantry, if they wanted to, could have attacked this artillery on the city. We actually have Hawke artillery ready to beat this guy up if he stays here. The trap bug probably won't get fixed. Well, if you're talking about in the replay viewer, it probably won't get fixed until it's fixed on site. Because that's just part of the replay file that comes over. So annoying to see that. I'm sure they're working on it. Wow. ArtyParty with the second lander. Well, that will allow for constant streams of artillery into this area. You can see the economic edge that Hawke is continuing to get just from being able to have very general map control by having a mixed composition of mobile units. And we're going to see artillery shot, finish off this artillery, and the tank goes up. So things are looking a little tough for Grit here. Something to keep in mind for Grit's powers: the normal power and the super power boost your damage just as much. So the only difference the super has is it gives your indirects another additional range on top of the +1 that the normal power gives. So usually Grit will just use normal powers, unless the superpower is really unlocking a lot of targets. You can see that Hawke has started to produce a lot of copters here because artillery can't shoot up. So either Grit's going to have to start building some anti-airs, or could try and rely on some missiles. Another thing that Hawke can build when you're really high income like this is you can start building stealths. They are really annoying for Grit to deal with because his fighters do not one-shot stealths. And that means that the Grit fighter comes in and hits the stealth, and then that gives a ton of charge to Hawke, who can then use like a Black Storm and keep the stealth alive. Continue to harass and scout with it. And now we got the 2-lander policy. We have a lot of indirects dropped. You have to build up a lot to really stop. This is just such a sad situation there. I don't know why. I don't know what happened there for ArtyParty, but perfectly blocked the 2 tiles that this could unload from. We do have the missile. Another thing that ArtyParty could build, you can get a carrier. Carrier here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It covers a pretty good chunk. You also get a battleship. Try and cover the middle. If Grit wanted to go for some really expensive buys. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not quite enough to reach the copters. Or artillery. Getting torn apart. I can understand ArtyParty's pain. It's really difficult to play Grit in Fog of War. In Standard, it's a lot easier to play Grit, because you always know what you're up against, and you can have your walls very effectively placed, and it's the maps are less open. Okay, the lander went all the way up here was the idea. We have the rocket in place. Ooh, okay. ArtyParty might and by might I mean is definitely dreaming about taking the HQ here. And I mean, that might work. Hawke is heavily invested in the southern section of the map. So if a lot of these units from Hawke end up charging forward and getting taken out, then HQ could be quelled very quickly. There's no... this is looking very bad over here, though. There's no anti-air capabilities with this army up here. So, doubt the HQ can be taken. We do have a super snipe, which will let this missile take out a copter. Bam, bam. All units living at 1, which is really annoying. Oh, decided to shoot at the Blackwood. Still nothing to do with the copter, so we have another missile being built. For some reason, the lander stepped off of the harbor. I don't know. We do have a black storm in response, though. And this is something that Grit hates. All of these indirects will start getting chipped down so much from the global damage, as well as just getting attacked in general. Oh, down goes the Blackfoot on the HQ. And down goes defenders. I think the rocket is in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This rocket is in range due to Grit's extra base range. So can save the HQ for now, but has to base skip to do it. It's just gonna have trouble once the joins start happening. Doing their best up here. Comes the copter strike to interrupt the rocket here. Ooh, but this artillery, oh, it's not in place. Well, if ArtyParty can get a normal power, they could save this HQ for another turn. Otherwise, I think this is just GG. Unless the 6 health rocket does 5 damage. Or the 7 health. The 7 health might do it. Well, there's a huge attack in here, so it's very possible ArtyParty will be able to get the normal power. Oh, did do 5 damage, which is exactly what they needed. So it's another turn before the HQ cap finishes. Indirects, they're trying to hold the line. It's just not enough. They're going to join together, and then these most forward indirects are just going to get taken out by the heavy tanks. Actually, Hawke probably could have won here because you could do the Andy thing where you use your normal power, heal this up to 6, and then finish the capture. And there's a lot of attacks available in order to get to that charge level. So I think a slight misplay, but it's not huge. Down goes the artillery. Down goes the artillery. Recon does 1 damage. Oh, maybe Hawke wasn't able to get there anyway. Grit getting the charge. If it gets the super, then the artillery and the rocket can both fire and take the save the HQ. Wasn't quite able to get to the super though. There's the resign. GG for ArtyParty. But yeah, playing as Grit and Fog is very difficult. You can see you just get picked apart so easily. But that's why he's allowed in Fog. Otherwise, they wouldn't let him in. Okay, for the last, probably the last one for the day, we can do another one of these on-site tournaments. Alright, you have to go into transition scene as I set this up. The chat will be big again. Looking at the wrong window, that's why I can't go to the transition scene. There we go. Basically, what I have to do is I have to take the replay out of the replay folder, and then I have to give it a new name, and then upload it onto the site. Because if I just keep it the same name, I think it has a... I mean, it just doesn't work well with the system. It rejects it. For some reason. I'm pretty sure they're each unique names. They're just a random list of letters, or numbers. Okay. Oop, that's the chat. There we go. The big chat again. It's a long... Oh my gosh. Look how tall this map is. I want you guys to be able to see the bird tree. Okay, I think we'll settle with that. The turns will have to be up here. Okay, we have HeatherFrandall playing as Vombolt Andy, which is very scary, against Eagle-Eye playing as Hawke Rachel. That's pretty interesting. So, in both these cases, we have the higher tier kind of like day-to-day CO that's going to be doing the daily fighting, and then once available, they'll switch over to these lower tier COs to use their supers and then swap back. For very different reasons. For Andy, it's to heal up all of the Vombolt units, and for Rachel, it's to start dropping missiles all over the place. It was kind of interesting. They almost counter each other in the backup COs. But Hawke versus Vombolt's a very classic matchup that you see a lot in Tier 1. However, usually when maps have bases that are really close together, Vombolt gets a good advantage. Because you can see these bases almost touch each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Their day 1 reinforcements range overlap for tanks. And they can actually do some very aggressive recon builds to start interrupting captures, which would be favorable for Vombolt, of course, due to having stronger day-to-day power. So we'll see how the players decide to go about this. Eli goes up here. So you'll note that if Eagle-Eye wanted to be really aggressive, could potentially go for a day 1 recon. Not a huge advantage, but it would stop a capture like this from happening. They could go for a day 2 recon without any base skips. And that is exactly what happens. And HeatherFrandall, nowhere near the amount of funds needed to build a tank yet. So this recon will get to come over here and harass this infantry. If the black boat hadn't been sitting on this harbor, it could have come over and blocked this, which would have been pretty fancy. We have some very, very early recon harassment here. Heather does have enough funds to build a tank, though. Never mind, it was recons. It wasn't so secret after all. No worries. Yeah, the recon harassment can be really annoying. Now we have the tank covering this, and this is going to be kind of nasty. We'll see what Eagle Eye decides to do with this recon. They can try and French shift just to get away from the tank, but the tank is going to be forced out of this base. Your opponent had 3 recons day 5. Yeah. I mean, I do like recons, and they can be really nice on mixed base because the amount you have to invest in order to stop them is a lot more than the amount you have to invest to build them. Okay. You have the tank moving out. It's making sure it can still cover everything. I don't think it has to move quite to there. Oh, it wants to be able to stop this capture, I guess. I think it could have just moved out less. If it was here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it doesn't work. It would have to be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aw, it can't quite both cover this capture and stop this harbor. Although this black boat from Heather. Oh, it had to repair the tree. Yeah, that's fair. It can be used to stop the harbor. Okay. So very peaceful over here. Eagle Eye does get this comm tower. Very weird that Eagle Eye went for this capture. Must be going for a recon strike over here or something. No. Well, Heather should interrupt this and then use the black boat here. Oh. Eagle Eye's got devious plans to interrupt this bomb tower. Well, you can still have that. You can build a copter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That will stop any devious plans. Black boat goes here. Build a copter. Heather's own recon gets some harassment in. Tank decides to move over here. Okay. Doesn't want to deal with fighting so close to this base. I'm surprised there hasn't been any copters built. That's okay. This infantry is a little sad. It would love to go for this. But Heather's own tank is definitely in position to stop that. In general, there we go. You see a copter now. In general, you'll expect to see Von Bolt be the bully. But in this case, Hawke is kind of bullying Von Bolt. Although unit value-wise, Von Bolt's way ahead. Not way ahead, but a little ahead. Okay, we do have the Von Bolt comm towers captured now. I don't see a reason why this tank wouldn't interrupt here, so I assume that's what we will see. Moving on over here, we got a nice recon harassment. We have our interrupt. And a nice harassment over here. Ooh, followed up by an infantry attack. That's really scary. Because now this infantry is set up to actually go for this capture. And we get the nice repair on this tank, so all the chip damage is gone. But that did get changed. Okay. Eagle Eye at this point is only got 1 capture finishing, so behind in all metrics, which is what you don't want to see. I'm kind of surprised by that because there was that early harassment. I thought that would serve Hawke well. But Heather doing a really good job of just having more stuff. got both of these captures with no worries. It's really annoying for some reason Eagle Eye didn't even finish following up capturing, just left this guy here. It's really annoying when your opponent can just capture one section of the map and on your side they stop you. So there's well done by Heather. Backs off away from this base. Really nice use of this black boat. Just get in the way. Tank ships over here. We have an anti-air from both bases to try and contain this copter. There's no tanks over here actually supporting this copter, so these anti-airs are really scary. We have the bomb bolt mech. Okay. Fly's starting to catch up a little bit in income, maybe. Down, still down 4K. You actually, Eagle Eye needs to run away with this. These guys can just take it out. You're doing your 4th ever Global League game. Good luck. That sounds great. Hey. Almost got like a little tank contain going on here. And some more valuable captures. I see. Very weird that this city has not been capturable because it's so close to the base. Down goes this recon. Also letting Heather go in for some more harassment of, I assume, her. There we are. Disconnect, reconnect, disconnect. It says I'm still here. You still here, chat? I'll have to check to see if I'm still online. Okay, we're here. Okay. We good. So, the black boat's pretty nice to try and guard this tank, but it doesn't really need the guarding. Just the raw stats of it being a bomb bolt tank keeps it pretty much safe from being attacked. You can hear me? Okay. So Eagle Eye at this point has to get something done. And if you're looking at Heather's situation, like setup here, you need to look for where are there the least defenses for properties. And it looks like over here is probably over here and over here. And this, well, not quite this corner because this copter can easily swing over. Down here looks pretty weak. Over here looks pretty weak. And here. So that would be the places I would be eyeing, particularly down here, to try and get back into this game. Because if you're just hanging out in the center as Heather like slowly comes in and pincers your army, you're going to be in trouble. And then you should also look at where your weak points are. So for Eagle Eye, like this is a huge weak point. This is a weak point. This is not so much a weak point. This is kind of a weak point because the anti-air is coming in. So if you're looking at your weak points, you have to be like, how easy is it for me to actually salvage that spot? This one looks very difficult to salvage. This one looks very easy to salvage because it's so close to this base. So I would sack this corner and use the units I would normally use to defend here to attack somewhere else. So I'd probably send them down here to try and take these properties. We'll see what Eagle Eye does. Does attack over here. Attack where your enemy is not, exactly. Is like, this is kind of nice. Using this black boat to help wall. Okay, so we have a nice attack over here-ish. We have one infantry coming over. This is where I want to invest my vehicles. Okay, I like this. very good attack for Eagle-Eye in the top, or in this bottom left. That's definitely the weakest point. Okay, and Heather should just start taking the city. For sure. And then, yeah, the tanks can just plow on through here. Double tank hits here. So this is a situation where Eagle-Eye shouldn't have attacked into this. Although it can be really awkward to not attack. And Heather made sure to attack the full health infantry here so as to slow down the captures, which is a good policy. So like this infantry decided to start moving up here. It actually doesn't reach, but it should have just left. So pretty nasty turn. Heather just completely got that pincer attack and hit so many tanks. And has this attack going on over here. I'd like the black boat to actually be supporting this, but it's okay. Okay, Eagle-Eye is... yeah, just resigns here. Was sticking around. You have to fall back to your bases when you get kind of overwhelmed in an area like that, which is really hard to say. And you can see that even the front, like they didn't tag out at all in this game. This was just a Vombolt versus Hawke game. But you saw how important that day-to-day power is. So like over here, this is really good for Heather because this infantry just goes back here to heal up and this infantry steps over and kills this infantry. Oh, true. That would be tricky. You load into this black boat and then drop off here as you go for the captures. Also, if you get this harbor, I mean, it'd be really hard to afford it in base light, but if you get the harbor, you can always build a battleship to take the base. Although I don't think that probably would. But sometimes. So GG. I liked Eagle-Eye's opening, the idea of using the recon to be very aggressive and get some nice harassment in. But yeah, Heather did a good job of stabilizing it, just going for like an economic build and then just out-tanking poor Hawke. GG. I'm going to call it there. Ending a tiny bit early, but that was going to be the last game. It was only 10 turns, so very well done. So I leave you with an apple. There isn't going to be a stream tomorrow because I'm still working on midterms, but there'll still be the shorter one on Wednesday. And we're doing pretty good progress on the backlog. So I hope everyone has a good night and a good Mother's Day. Leave you with an apple. And I will make sure to have the song play out all the way. Oh, and of course, there's a Patreon if you would like to join and help support. Thanks for watching.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins, that's his thing.